You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky, office space, let-me-block-your-blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. This isn't another book about what racism looks like. This is the blueprint of how it was built, who profits from it, and most importantly, how to dismantle it. I spent years connecting dots that they never wanted connected, following money trails that they thought were buried, exposing the machine that runs on our oppression. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge is liberation. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
If you have not been tuning in before, my goodness, you've missed out on a lot. Broke boy, but with potential. What made you realize this soft life is for me?
I deserve it. Because main money is special. I'm single.
Anyone.
But you don't like to be alone now. I'm looking for a guy to break my heart.
Well, as long as they're Nigerians now.
Watch Slay Queen Nigeria, only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke. We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff. No filters. Just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us this evening. We greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click that like button. That's very, very important. Today's the 13th. We're almost mid-month. I mean, doing these streams every single week, it seems like this time is just, really accelerating itself, ladies and gentlemen. And hold on, let me get where I can see y'all. All right, well, I hope y'all had a good weekend. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that kind of came across the desk over the weekend about California Governor Gavin Newsom. He has signed the Reparations agency bill. Now, if you remember, last year, during the election or so, 2024, he refused to sign this bill. He did everything he could not to sign it. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to sign it. So we're going to go through, what was being reported, and we're actually going to go through the bill, because that's what we do here. We go through actual bills here. We don't just take what Politico or NBC News says. We actually read the bill, see what's in it, and then we make our determination based off of what we read in actual bills. That's how we get educated over here. Always go read the bill yourself, so you know exactly what it says. So when they try to come propagandize, you say, oh, no. I read the bill. I saw it. Or if you didn't read it, you saw it here, right? All right. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. With that being said, y'all slowly coming on in. Well, let's read the bill. We can't just say BS unless we read the bill. You see, you can't make judgments unless you read. I don't have a judgment. Be honest with you. I'm going to read the bill with y'all. I haven't even read it. I got it pulled up, but I haven't even fully read it. So I'm not going to say BS. Now I know we're basing this off of Democrat history. I get it. But, hey, the Democrats are down bad, okay? The Democrats, they need us way more than we need them. See, they tried the immigrant play, and that didn't work. They tried the other groups, Latinos, Asians, everybody and their mama but black people. They didn't show up for them. The Latinos was voting for Trump. Asians voting for Trump. They votes are split. Black folks are the only one that had majority votes going toward Democrats. So hopefully, let's see what they're talking about. Because I already know what this play is with Gavin Newsom. I already know, and we'll get to the play, right? But so let's go ahead and get started. Don't take a whole lot of your time. And I was generating a video for y'all to see. Hopefully it's done. Let me see where we at. Hopefully it's done during the it'll be done during the stream. Yeah, I think it'll be done during the stream. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Let me see something. What is that on my screen here? Okay, it got a little while ago. That's fine. Cool. I was generating a video like based off of this topic that y'all can see since we got access to Sora 2 Pro. So yeah. All right. So let's get to the main thing that we want to review first. Let me go to the first section right here. And then we're going to go slide down right there. Let's start here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start right here. All right. Gavin Newsom approves slavery reparations agency. All right. So it said the California governor signed the bill 5 years after he created the task force to study how racist policies have affected the descendants of slaves. All right. Now, it's out of Sacramento. So Governor Newsom on Friday approved a new state agency to administer restitution to descendants of slaves, a victory for black lawmakers and advocates despite stopping short of providing cash reparations. It said the Democratic governor signed the legislation SB 518 5 years after forming the task force in wake of the George Floyd murder to study the legacy of slavery in California, how the state can implement reparations policies And more than 2 years after the panel released extensive recommendation, Newsom mentioned the bill during a conversation about racism on the podcast Higher Learning with Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay. So I signed the bill 2 days ago with the Black Caucus. It relates to creating a new office to address these systemic issues. He said pushing reparations proposals across the finish line has been proved challenging. I don't see how in a Democrat state that they have a supermajority, but let's continue. Especially as the post-pandemic political climate shifted rightward and the state confronted multi-billion-dollar budget deficits. Oh, please. It said Newsom himself threw cold water on the notion of writing checks to the descendants of slaves when he said in 2023 dealing with the legacy of slavery is much more than cash payments. He said last year late amendments sought by Newsom combined with the caucus infighting sank the effort to stand up a new reparations agency. The governor later vetoed a bill that would have provided redress for victims of racially motivated eminent domain, noting the state lacked an agency to administer the program until today. A state apology for reparations and discrimination was the highest profile legislation the caucus had achieved. And this year, Black Caucus members advanced a similar legislation, avoid labeling their policies as reparations instead of calling their bill package the road to repair. Personally, I can care less what name you call it, as long as they do the same thing. I don't care about names. All right. So let's get into the bill. All right. See, we on the California legislative information, SB 518, descendant of enslaved persons, reparations. All right. We looking at the text, approved by the governor, filed by the Secretary of State. SB 518, Weber Pearson, descendant of enslaved persons, reparations, a former law, Chapter 319. You see the statutes until July 1, 2023. They said establish a task force to, among other things, identify, compile, and synthesize the relevant corpus of evidentiary documentation of the institution of slavery that existed within the United States and the colonies specified, and to recommend the form of compensation that should be awarded, the instrumentalities through which it should be awarded, and who should be eligible for this compensation. Existing law, the California Fair Employment and Housing Act establishes the Civil Rights Department and set forth its powers and duties, including, among others, receiving, investigating, and prosecuting complaints, alleged violations of civil rights as specified. Now, the bill would establish a Bureau of Descendants of American Slavery within the department under the control of the deputy director, who would be appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. The bill would require the Bureau to create a genealogy division as specified and to verify an individual status as a descendant and require proof of individual descendant status to be qualifying criterion for benefits authorized by the state for descendants. The bill will also require the Bureau to create an education outreach division and a legal affairs division. The bill would impose various requirements on the Bureau related to collection, storage, and disclosure of personal and genetic information as specified. The bill would authorize the Bureau to receive monies from any federal, state, or local grant and from any non-governmental entity as specified. So this bill would make implementation of its provisions contingent upon appropriation by the legislature. This bill would include findings and declaration related to a gift of public funds. Existing constitutional provisions require that the statute that limits the right of access to the meetings of public bodies or the writings of public officials and agencies be adopted with finding demonstrating the interest protected by the limitation and the need for protecting the interest. The bill would make legislative findings to that effect. All right, the people of the state of California do as action follows. Section 1, as you can see here, Chapter 2, the Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery. They say it is intent of the legislature in establishing the Bureau to establish an initial framework, and it's intent of the legislature that the scope and responsibilities of the Bureau may expand as necessary to fulfill its mission and address additional harms identified. It's intent of the legislature that as the Bureau expands its scope in the future, it shall do both of the following: address the lasting harms of disenfranchisement, segregation, discrimination, exclusion, neglect, and violence impacting both descendants and communities harmed as described in chapters 1 through 13, inclusive of the California Reparations Report. Advise on reparative remedies to target the persistent consequences of this legacy, guided by chapters 14 through 33, inclusive of the California Reparations report. It's a implementation of this bill should be contingent upon appropriation of sufficient finding by the legislature in the annual budget act or the other statute for that purpose. Okay, so it lets you know kind of like what the general is. They let you know what all the purposes is, what the meanings are. Now they said, let's see what the descendant is. Means individuals who can establish direct lineage to a person who prior to 1900 was subjected to American chattel slavery and meets at least one of the following criteria: was emancipated through legal or extra legal means, including self-purchase, manumission, executive or legislative order, military service, or judicial ruling, obtained freedom through gradual abolition statutes or constitutional amendments, or classified as a fugitive from bondage under federal or state law, was deemed contraband by military authorities, and said rendered military or civic service while subject to legal restrictions, and said based on an ancestry historically associated with slavery. Now, I like that part. That means nobody can really crowbar themselves into it. I'm just saying, I mean, it's written right here, but what y'all think about it? You know, it's written right. So you can't have a bunch of people that just got here yesterday talking about, oh, you know, we suffered too. All right. They're talking about the Bureau, I say, of Descendants of American Slavery is hereby established within the department. It talks about all that, who's responsible, all of that, their duties. They say verify individual status of descendant, proof of individual's descendant status, and qualified criteria for benefits authorized by the state for descendants. And they talk about all of that, about creating a genealogy division, which, you know, if you are a Black American, they kept great records on us. I mean, it's not hard to find our records. They're talking about how they're supposed to, you know, they say establish process for individuals request certification of a descendant of American slaves informed by the process created pursuant to Chapter 4.8. They talk about a review and determine request for certification as a descendant, establish the process of individuals to appeal a determination made pursuant to paragraph, and then they talk about all of that here. Okay, so they say they're going to create an education and outreach division, and implement public education regarding all the following: the cycle of gentrification, displacement, exclusion. So most of that's just history right here. They're talking about a legal affairs division as well. Provide legal advice, counsel, and services to the Bureau. Ensure Bureau program administered in accordance with applicable legislative authority. Advise. Okay, so it's kind of like that section is to protect the Bureau. Non-personal and genetic information held by the Bureau's authority shall be collected, held, relevant. Okay. Before asking to supply information for a system ready to, okay, I'm just kind of going through it. So it say the disclosure, the information is mandatory or voluntary. They say the principal purpose for okay, I'm just kind of just going through this. It's a lot. All right, so basically, you got to turn in your records. That's how it should be. It says Civil Rights Department may adopt. I thought this was a lot longer than this. May adopt, promulgate, amend, or rescind suitable rules. It says in regulations to implement this chapter. Notwithstanding any other, the Bureau may receive monies from any federal, state, local grant, including from any private donation or grant. That's it. That part is interesting. So private corporations could get in on donating on this if they want to. Okay, that's interesting. So the purposes of this chapter receive funds pursuant of this shall not confer any right or authority on a donor or grant to direct, control, or influence divisions. Okay, so they got put in here, you can donate, but you can't tell us what to do. Okay, that's good. Let's say if any clause, sentence, paragraph, provision, part, or section of this chapter of the act thereof, for any reason, is judged by a court of consummate jurisdiction to be invalid, the judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of this chapter. And okay, so I'm looking at, they basically created the agency. Before we look in here, you gotta submit your information, okay, and everything they need. They can reject it, and you can appeal. They have a legal division of this to protect the agency, okay, for I guess from any lawsuits or whatever. But nothing of this talks about what the agency find and what payments is going out. So basically, all this is saying that we're creating a office to determine who could be eligible, and that's really all it is. So this is not any cash payment. It's just it's just a established office here. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at this here. Bill analysis. Just looking at who the votes are. Ayes counting the Senate floor. Noes 10. And you're looking at here. Okay. All right. I'm looking at kind of like what they got going on. All right. All right. So let's go on. It's not really a whole lot to talk about there, but let's talk about this. Let's get into why this happened. Why did this happen? And why now? Let me get my screen back up. All right. Why did this happen? And why now? Let me see if my video done. Hold on. Let me see if I can refresh. There we go. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can download this.
They keep acting like we're joking.
Yeah, there we go. I love this. Hold on. I'm gonna play this probably here shortly. But anyway, so why are they doing this? Why they want to create it now? Now check this out. This would have helped Kamala if you'd have did this last time. Why did you reject it back then, Governor Newsom? This would have helped Kamala possibly be the president right now. Because if you'd have did that and then she'd have picked it back off of that, a lot of more black Americans would have came out and voted for her. Because they say, hey, wait a minute, I'll do the same thing on the federal level. Just get me the Congress I need. And we did it already in California as Democrats. We'll do it federally. So why didn't you I'm just curious why you didn't give Kamala the alley-oop. Aren't y'all curious about that? Well, you didn't give Kamala the alley-oop? That's a fellow Democrat? So, and you knew how important that was at the time. And you still did it? But now it seems like you're trying to run for president. Now you want to create the bureau now. And nothing in the bill talks about any payments. The bill just said that you're creating the office. You are determining who can get it. But you're not saying nothing about what the reward going to be. Okay, now you qualify. You qualify. Okay, cool. What's the next step? Why aren't we discussing the next step? I mean, you say, okay, we going to pay out this amount of money, so we got to find out who's eligible. And really, it's not a whole lot of FBAs in California anymore like that. So it's not that many people you're probably going to have to pay. So you're not saying a certain dollar amount. We determine this because this amount of dollars is for reparations right here, but we just creating an office. Gavin Newsom, look, I know what you're doing, bro. You trying to get the black vote because you can't present nothing else to black people without the reparations. Now, there's some black people that's happy about this, and I'm not speaking against it, but after reading the bill, the part I didn't like is that you did not have no dollar amount. That's why you're talking about eligibility. Okay, I meet eligibility, then what? Now I got to wait for y'all to go back to your assembly and go determine what amount it is. What if y'all never determine the amount? So now you got a bunch of people who are qualified, but Gavin Newsom, look, man, stop playing with black people, bro. Stop playing. We need the dollar amount. All that Medi-Cal that y'all was giving in the billions of dollars to illegal immigrants, y'all can take that same Medi-Cal money and y'all can put that in the reparations fund. So when you determine how much, once you get your people, at least have some, say, hey, man, we're going to take X amount of billion. That's reparations right there. So we need to determine what it is. Because California have a lot of money for illegal immigrants. They give illegal immigrants a gang of money. Their economy is so based off of illegal immigration. When I showed up to L.A., brothers and sisters say the streets of L.A. got real empty. It wasn't jammed up as much when I showed up, gathering people up. So you have made sure to put money in their pockets. And what black folks are saying, Gavin Newsom, and the Democrats, you going to put money in black folks' pocket, just as much as you did for illegal immigrants. We have not forgot during the Biden administration how y'all, on all these Democrat cities, Chicago, New York, Boston, name them, y'all was putting money in their pocket. They were getting free food. They were getting shelter. Hotels, community centers are being converted. Schools in Chicago is being converted. When black Americans say, hey, give us the school so we can have a community center. We'll make a community center for our kids. No, you didn't want to do it, Brandon Johnson, but you did it for illegal immigrants. And look at all the stuff you're talking about now, even in Chicago. You're talking about illegal immigrants. You're not talking about American citizens. Let's call it what it is. No, Democrats, nice try. You should have did that to help Kamala, actually. See, Gavin, you're not slick. You're actually dirty. Gavin, you dirty, bro. You dirty. You did Kamala dirty, bro. You knew that would affect her. And now you're going to do it? Because, see, if that was your position back then, it should be your position now. So you mess over Kamala, but it's okay when you want to run. But I'm telling black people, don't fall for that, because why I need to be. Imagine you sign up for a program. They say, oh, well, just sign up for this program. And I'm like, okay, I'm signed up. Now what? Well, we don't know what kind of money you're going to get in this program, but just sign up and give all your family history, give everything up. But we don't know. We just want to make sure you qualify. Like, don't you supposed to put the money up first, have the money approved first, and then once you got the money, the dollar amount, then you go to try to qualify to get it? That's how every program in America works. You got to have the money approved first, then you figure out who's eligible to get the money. Stop playing with black people, bruh. No, Democrats, you want the black vote? You gonna cut some checks. Hold on. Let me put up this video real quick. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me see if I can put this video up real quick. Give me a second. I don't even know fully what this video gonna say, but let me put this up.
They keep acting like we're joking. Like reparations is some buzzword we throw around during election season.
Nah, we're dead serious. Generations of wealth stolen, and they think a couple slogans will keep us quiet.
We told them what it is. If you want our votes, if you want us to show up again, cut the check.
Straight up. Policy, money in our...
Let me try that one more time, y'all.
They keep acting like we're joking. Like reparations is some buzzword we throw around during election season.
Nah, we're dead serious. Generations of wealth stolen, and they think a couple slogans will keep us quiet.
We told them what it is. If you want our votes, if you want us to show up again, cut the check.
Straight up. Policy, money in our...
Hey, man, look. Boy, this election season, oh, boy, y'all should have never gave me Sora 2. Oh, boy, I'm going to have so much ready for y'all. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Now, yes, that was AI, all AI generated. But here's the thing. Like they said on the video, stop playing. Stop playing with black people. Governor Newsom, stop playing. Stop playing. And I'm still say that again, you're wrong. What you did Kamala wrong. You talking about other people, you did her wrong. Because you know good and well that would have helped Kamala out if you'd have signed that bill. That's all thing. I'm watching you, Newsom. I'm watching you. And let's call it what it is. What really did you do good for black people in California? Any black Californians in here? Any black Californians in the chat right now? Give me 3 things that Gavin Newsom did well for black Americans, or any program that black Americans really say, you know what, thank you, Governor Newsom, for what you did for black America, or whatever program. Can y'all tell me anything? Anything? Jay Wiggum said, brothers and sisters, it's more than just a check. They're still benefiting from slavery because they look at the land and property that they own and we built. Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you something about reparations. Reparations is cash and other things, too. It's not just cash. Because, yes, it's cash. We got to look at this land these white people sitting on right now, all these millions of acres of land they're sitting on and how they got it. Because I guarantee you, if you look at all the acres of land a lot of these white people sitting on right now, it should be land expropriation without compensation. I promise you. A lot of our families lost our land. So cash payments, land, laws need to be changed that openly discriminate against black Americans. Oh yeah, it's more than just cash, but at minimum it has to be that. Because what they made off of black labor is trillions of dollars worth of cash. Gavin Newsom tried that. Well, it's not just cash. Well, that's what y'all made off of my ancestors. That's what y'all made off of them. Free labor, cash. But when it comes to the grandchildren, nah, it ain't that. What the hell? Well, when it's time for somebody to you talking about your campaign and donating or whatever, and I don't know why I get them text messages from him talking about donating anything. I don't donate nothing to you. What have you given me as a black person? I don't even live in California. I'm in Texas. What are you giving me? How you got my number to text me about some freaking Donald Trump and what he doing? Man, I don't care what Trump doing. I'm worrying about what my people got going on. And right now, you are sitting governor. You worry about roasting Trump all day long. The only thing I'm saying is this. We're not playing for it. We're not playing it. Let me play that. Let me play this video. I like that video. Let me play this video one more time. Hold on. I gotta play that one more time. I like this video.
They keep acting like we're joking. Like reparations is some buzzword we throw around during election season.
Nah, we're dead serious. Generations of wealth stolen, and they think a couple slogans will keep us quiet.
We told them what it is. If you want our votes, if you want us to show up again, cut the check.
Straight up. Policy, money in our...
Yep. That's it. Gavin Newsom, you got to go ahead on and appropriate those billions of dollars in funds, Gavin Newsom. That's it. Appropriate those funds, deposits, checks, whatever you got to do. I get the slogan "cut the check," but no, you just go ahead and put my deposit like y'all did with the CARES Act. Cause see, let me tell you something else. So some of these so-called good wide folks that be running around here talking about how are we going to pay that? Well, the CARES Act, y'all came up with trillions of dollars out the blue during COVID. And we see money can go to people's accounts just like that. Direct deposit. Not hard to do at all, right? That's how you pay reparations, the same way like the CARES Act. You see, they didn't have no study, they didn't have no commission. They just got together, the House and the Senate, President signed it, and hey, so much money was going out there, it was scamming central. Scamming. People still going to jail behind scamming during the pandemic. They say a lot of the money they won't even recover because it was foreigners scamming and getting the money. That's how much money they would pass around, that foreigners were scamming and getting the doggone COVID money. Isn't that something? Yeah, they can direct deposit your stimulus. They can direct deposit a reparations. They got your information. I don't know what y'all think about the government. The government has access to all your stuff. Don't you think, oh, I don't want the government. Man, the government got all your information. They got your picture. They know where you live. They know you about your bank accounts. You're not really hiding nothing from the government. That's why I don't even get into all that. I ain't giving the government this. Man, the government already got it. Like you ain't hiding nothing, bruh. Ira says the U.S. government has spent $300 trillion on Israel. Dr. Sandy Darity estimated descendants of slaves are owed $19 trillion. America that paid reparations 10 or 20 times over. Sure they could have. Sure they could have, because they print the money. It don't hurt them to do anything. But they just don't want to. That's the key. You just don't want to. But see, Gavin Newsom understands that Democrats are in trouble. He knows that just trying to scare black people about Trump, it's not really working like it used to. Yes, Trump is doing some things that a lot of, even I don't agree with. But Democrats, you're going to have to bring something better to the table than that. Just an agency with no money. Please. That's like telling somebody to come out to eat dinner and they sit at the table and there's no food. Why would you tell somebody to come to dinner and there's no food on the plate? You just sitting there. It's like, are we eating? Well, they haven't decided if they was going to cook the food or not. But come on to dinner. Why would you invite me and you didn't have the food cooked already? Why am I here? That's the same kind of thing. No food, no nothing. But you just sitting there. Yeah, we need to be tax exempt. Now, I'm down with that. Yes, we need tax exemption. You doggone right. Tax exemption to the day Lord ready for us. That'll be beautiful. Black people be tax exempt. Yeah. You know, I mean, now, of course, sales tax. I'm talking about all kind of tax exempt. Sales tax, whatever. I'm not saying they got to put a special code or nothing on the registers, but I'm like every year, hey, the IRS needs to send us our money back. Yeah, no tax. I'll take that too. Definitely no tax. Because that could save us a lot of money too. But Democrats, you want to win the midterms. Okay. Well, you got a lot to do before the midterms, right? And hey, you could do it. If you want to, you would do it. But you have to be desperate. That's all. You have to be desperate. Trump's authoritarian. When y'all was in office, y'all authoritarian. Y'all just Trump is, look, the difference with Trump, he's open about it. He's not hiding what he's doing. Y'all the same like Trump. What are you talking about? Oh, he's trying to stop people from freedom of speech. Y'all was doing it. Y'all was calling YouTube and Facebook, telling people to take people's channels down, take people's videos down. Y'all were doing that. Oh, he's attacking journalists. Y'all was doing it too. Y'all was spying on journalists. Biden's FBI. It's come out y'all spying on everybody. What are you talking about? Trump just open with what he does. That's the difference. He don't hide it. Y'all do. How are you better than Trump? You worse than Trump in a lot of instances because Trump, you don't see Trump taking people from countries, third world countries, and dumping them in American cities and giving resources. You don't see Trump doing that. I haven't seen him do it yet. I just saw a report about the border. They say they're only having 20 people come across that border a day. 20. You know how many was coming across a day with Biden? 2,000. Hardly nobody's coming across that border now. And these people was catch and release underneath y'all. Y'all, them 2,000 people cross, and then they process them and they release them. They said now when them 20 people come over here, they processed and they behind and sent right back. That's why a lot of them say, nah, I don't want to go over there because I'm not trying to go right back. No, I give Trump that. When Biden and them, the Democrats was in office, not only were you dumping them in American cities, you were taking resources from Black Americans and giving it to them. But we supposed to come out and vote for that. That's really why y'all lost the election. Kamala should have beat him, beyond which she should have beat him. But what hurt her, one of the main things that hurt her was that. And she wasn't coming out against it either. That's what hurt her too. She wasn't coming, not the Israel-Gaza thing, not that. It was that immigration thing. When you start dumping them people, And like I told y'all, a bunch of young men, military-age males, dumping them in cities with nothing to do. Then they start going around doing home invasions. They start doing all. They brought criminal gangs over here. Then on top of that, Democrats, y'all are flying people in $30,000 a month, dropping them off in American cities. Let's talk about why people were so upset and why some people voted for Trump. Y'all act like we forgot. I ain't forget. Like I tell people, I don't smoke drugs and I don't drink. So thank God my memory is pretty sharp. Yeah, see, Kimberly even understand. That's why she lost. Immigration. She should have beat him. Listen, this guy had 34 felonies. January the 6th. It should have been too easy to beat Trump. Too easy. The Democrats were that bad that people rather take Trump with 34 felonies and January 6th and let's call it what it is, Democrats. Y'all radicals in the party. Y'all tried to take the man's life. Y'all made him sympathetic to people, even though he had 34 felonies and all the stuff that he had going on, right? Y'all did put that man in office. It was y'all did it. And then now y'all complaining about him. Y'all did it. They don't want to take responsibility that it's their fault while Trump's in office. Then these Democrat shills want to come to black people. Y'all staying at home, talking about the couch. Oh, some of y'all voted for Trump. No, the Democrats put Trump in office. Wasn't black people. It was the Democrats. Look, it was so doggone bad that the people that will suffer the most under Trump would be Latinos, and even half of them voted for Trump. And y'all never tell nothing to Latino voters. When they have a lot more to lose behind mass deportation, we ain't got nothing to lose. Trump could mass deport all he wants. They don't got nothing to do with us. Then you had one video where they were targeting and bringing black people out. Yes, and that was completely wrong. But people from Chicago said the reason why they was over there is because Brandon Johnson and them was putting them illegal immigrants where black people stay. And that's why they went in there messing with black people too. And how many times? And I remember that because there was the Austin neighborhood out there in Chicago where black people was upset. They had a Venezuelan couple. They just got to America, I think in 2022. And already they got a home, not a renting. They had got a home, and they got first-time home buyer and all kind of immigrant things they was giving to this family. Well, you got black Americans, okay? Black Americans can't even get a house in their own neighborhoods in Chicago. Who is that downstairs? I don't know who that was. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Well, then you want to play game. While y'all gave Democrats, you put immigrants in homes. Remember the video I covered of that sister crying because she had to sell her food truck, and an immigrant came up to her talking about he was going to buy it because he had funding from the bank. And you remember Biden said that the banks can't discriminate against illegal immigrants, so they have to give them loans and home loans and all that other stuff that was going on. See, Democrats, y'all had no problem transferring all kind of money to illegal immigrants. But when it comes to black Americans who built this country and that y'all owe, because you do, you want to play games and create a bureau with no money. A bureau with no money, but illegal immigrants, they got Medi-Cal and they getting all kind of home buyer assistance and, you know, private organization. They getting free job fairs in Chicago, secret job fairs, and they couldn't even report where it was at in the media in Chicago, right? Local Chicago media. And everybody there were illegal immigrants. Not a single American, definitely not a black American, were there. We covered all this stuff. Phil, you was against Kamala in the election. It's your fault. No, it was not my fault. It's the Democrats' fault why she didn't get elected. How you going to tell somebody to go vote for more of that? How? Black people are being hurt by this, and you telling black people, yeah, just go vote for more of that. Let me tell you something. Trump's racism, Stephen Miller's racism, that's a cakewalk. It's a cakewalk. We are black Americans. We grew up dealing with racism. We understand microaggressions. We understand direct confrontational racism. We understand passive-aggressive racism. Make sure I go pick up my book, Passive-Aggressive Racism and System White Supremacy, on Amazon. We understand it all. We understand it. We don't fear Stephen Miller. I like a Stephen Miller. You know why? Because he's in your face. And that kind of racism gets my people right. It gets them in check. They can't shuck and jive. They can't play the Candace Owens game. None of that mess. They'll say, "Oh, this is a white supremacist for real. You got to get right." And that's what I've always liked. Give me my white supremacists open. Don't smile in my face and stabbing me in my back. Come snarling and everything at me, because I respect you a lot more because you're in front of who you really are. Most people don't like fake people. I don't know too many people that like fake people. So at least with these Republicans, they out in front. I respect that. The Democrats are fake. You're going to create a bureau with no money. Put black people through all this, searching for records, doing this, doing that, and no money to pay them for reparations. What was the point, Gavin? To get the black vote, right? And Gavin, this one stunt you didn't pull, you better fix it. Because if you don't put no money with this, I'm on your bumper too. Run for office if you want to. I have no problem being on your bumper every night. Hold on. Ira says, I tried to buy a home out in Manville and I was making $200K a year. Good money. At the time, they told me no because I had student loan debt, but illegals can get a house with no credit. There you go. There you go. $200,000 a year plus, and you couldn't buy a home for your family or yourself. But somebody can come over here who didn't build this country, who didn't pay taxes in this country, and you wonder why black people rent so much. Black people, it should be mandatory for all black people to have a home. And this student loan debt, let's call it what it is. The reason why so many Americans got student loan debt, the government, beyond with you, I used to feel a certain way about that student loan debt, but here's why I feel I'm changing on it. The system told you, go to college, get a degree. They told you, take this debt, take this loan. Once you get your degree, you'll get a job and you can pay it off. Okay, sounds pretty good. If you're getting a job that's paying you $80,000+, maybe $120,000 out of college, sure, you can go ahead on and pay your stuff off. If let's say you're a single person and say, I'm working all the time I get, I'm going to throw all my checks over here and hurry up, pay my student loan debt off. That way I'm debt free. Okay. But here's the problem. You get these degrees and you're not even making enough money to pay maybe you can make the payments, but the interest rate's so freaking high. I've heard people's student loan debt interest rate be like 16 to 20%. That's like credit card rates. Hey, no way you should be paying a 16 to 20% loan. And there are people that have been paying these student loan debts for 20, 30 years and haven't even paid them off. They only been paying interest every single time. That is so predatory. The only way people can get out of that, the government literally have to forgive it all. That's the only way. Because most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. They don't make enough money to pay all that off. Unless it came into a bag. or they're willing to live real frugal, or they would, and just be honest with you, you could have the man and the woman working, both of them living frugal to pay that off. And when I mean frugal, I mean rice and beans, not going out, not taking vacation, just paying your bills and trying to pay all the debt off. And some people are willing to make that sacrifice. Unfortunately, it's hard for people to do that because America is a very hyper-consumerism country. They constantly put in your face, you need to buy. Ooh, look, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. Ooh, you need to go try that restaurant. Ooh, look, that new movie. Ooh, look, it's America throw it at you. You have to be extremely disciplined in this country. Yeah, see, Andre down there says, get this degree and earn $36,000 a year. You could have did that. Yeah. And think about all the people who didn't go to college. They say, oh, you didn't go to college. You have no degree. Yeah, and they ain't got no debt either. You do. And you making $36,000, like Andre said, with the debt that you can never pay back, making $36,000. But at least the other person making $36,000 with no college degree, she may have some credit card debt, maybe. You know, car notes, but they ain't got $100,000 in debt or more. That's doubling on you, and you've been making a pay. Like I said, and this student loan payment is affecting everybody. Now in the black community, it's been reported it affects black women more because more black women have degrees. So you have a lot of black women who has deep in student loan debt as well. Okay, Mr. Wiggum, and you went a different route. Now, I had a sister come on this platform that said how to go to college. And those type of videos aren't as, interesting to some people. But that sister said, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, if you want to save money, you go to the community college, do all your basics, do everything you can at the community college and save money. Then if you want to transfer over to University of Houston, University of Texas, or whatever, right? Transfer over there. Then she said it's not where you start, it's where you finish. You will save so much money, and you may not even have to get in no student loan debt if you go it on and start at the community college. There's black people out here giving that game too. But, hey, sometimes that's not what we want to hear. Another thing, I'm going to try to find somebody to do an interview about life insurance. For years, I've been seeing a lot of our people, when they pass, whether it's suddenly or maybe they was already sick, and the people is on GoFundMe soliciting funds for them. When we can get a $25, $30, maybe $50 policy, we ain't got to get the most expensive policy. I mean, an average funeral was $16,000, $20,000. Get you a $30,000, $50,000 policy, at least not to burden your children or anybody else that can bury you. And okay, you want a bigger policy? Get it. Leave them some money. But we have to start, especially you 40 plus. We definitely got to take responsibility and not burden our children. Now they're trying to find out a way to bury us. Or now you're soliciting donations online. So I want to bring somebody on here to talk about that from the black community. And we need to get life insurance. I wouldn't want to burden my children, whenever the Lord ready for me. Looking online, talking about, I need help, my dad, this, that. No, dad should have took care of dad while he was here. You know what I'm saying? So we need to, my grandmother always believed in life insurance. She always believed in that. She always said, look, you don't want your family out here having to bury you with a cup. That's what she used to say. They have you some life insurance. They believed in life insurance. They believed in the headstone. They believed in that. They paid that bill religiously. Now, and when your family have life insurance, Washington power of attorneys where people can take loans against your life insurance policy. I tell people, don't even get the life insurance policy you can take a loan against, so nobody's tempted, right? But, that happened with my grandmother's policy, even though she had a policy, and when she passed, there was some shortage of money, a couple of thousand was short, and so grandson had to go, pay the remaining balance, but that's okay as my grandmother. Even though certain family members were saying, well, Phil, we'll pay you back. Now ask me how much money I got since. Just ask me, and I'll tell you how much money I got since then. But hey, God blessed me with the funds to do it. My grandmother did a whole lot more for me than those funds. So that's and my wife at the time would say, yeah, but that's your grandma. And you say we got the money, so like, nah, don't even argue with them. Don't even tell them chip in. Just go down there and do it. So yeah, I had to leave my area to go down to Port Arthur and do it. But that's okay. That's all right. Now, I was happy to do that, but certain family members, I was just kind of side-eyeing them. But it is what it is. So, yep. And I say, get what you can afford. You ain't got to get a $1 million policy. Get what you can afford. If all you can afford is a policy that's $50,000, that's enough to bury you. $100,000, you want more, $1 million, okay, cool. You leave kids some money, great. But at minimum, get something where people can bury you. At minimum, please. That's not do the GoFundMe thing, especially as grown adults. Oh, we won't be doing it, but our children would have to do it. Well, my grandmother passed away way before COVID. We were still kind of normal back then. So this was before COVID. Everything got disrupted after COVID, from my opinion. Prior to COVID, it was still have some normalcy a little bit, right? So that's what that was. All right. And like I said, thank y'all for joining us on the stream tonight. We really appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. I got maybe 1 or 2 minutes left on the LaSherica video. We got to render, but we'll put that up here. So you can check LaSherica out. I guess maybe about 8:30. So